Welcome back to the channel, guys. I've done a ton of stuff since the last video. Would take too long to catch you up on every detail, but as you can see on the screen, we've crafted a handful of new upgrades. I think we can basically call this a free-to-play versus PoE series. I think the only thing left for me to craft for my build is a pair of gloves. I saved the hardest item for last. Also, the gear you see me crafting wasn't what was best for my build at the time. It's what I thought was best to take back to settlers with me. Plus, it's still good enough to wear now. I spent like 90 divs crafting the body armor, but sold some for 105 div. I spent 20 div crafting the helm, and I spent 20 div crafting the boots, and I spent 22 div crafting the shield. And that basically catches me up to real time today. Alright guys, so now where I'm at is I've rolled tailoring orbs on just the armor. I've rolled uh, sacred orbs on some of the items, but basically I've just touched them up. I've hit them with omens of blanching is how I've got all the white sockets. Actually, I think I hit the helm twice with blanching, and I only got one socket. So then I hit it with the Horticraft bench to give it a second white socket. Um, the crafting mods, it can fluctuate, but basically it's all T1s on the helm, all T1s on the armor, all T1s on the boot, all T1s on the claw, all T1s on the shield. The shield is what I'm still in the process of working on because Vivid Vultures are literally like 7D each to buy on trade, which is way too much for a free to play like me. I have to like I know that I've made a bunch of currency, but at the same time I have to be kind of smart with what I spend. So what I've been doing is buying the beast memory. What is it? The memory Ironheart memories of Harvest Beast, and then farming the Vivid Vultures myself. I've ran 3 memories and found 2 vultures. I used both vultures. Originally I had a life mod, and now I've got a strength mod instead, but the 8 cold's been on there since I synthesized the item. I was very happy though to get 2 synthesized mods because I knew that over time I could eventually re-roll them into something useful. I am definitely hemmed up on the gloves though, meaning like I started buying bases to roll my gloves. But the real problem that I'm running into is how to get this increased attack and cast speed while focused mod. So what I've seen from looking on YouTube and talking to ChatGPT is basically I can combine non-warlock gloves with warlock gloves, and then some of the mods aren't possible to move over. Like strength isn't possible, evasion, armor, like mods that affect that, like they can't move over. So my goal is to eventually get like triple suffixed item where the only suffix that can actually move over to my warlock gloves is this increased attack and cast speed while focused. And I'd like to be like theoretically I'd like to be able to craft a pair of gloves that's T1 flat energy shield, T1% energy shield, uh, and then have an open prefix for crafting, and then in the suffix have T1 attack speed, T1 intelligence, and that T1 focus mod. That's my goal. It's going to take me a long time to get there. I'm hoping it doesn't cost me more than 100 divs. I've tried to look on trades. You can't really find those gloves for under 200D, but at the same time, like I think the league's dead, so there's not as much stuff for trade. Um, I'm stuck in the middle of like currently I'm a claw build, and my passive tree I've been working this whole entire event to basically play a life slash energy shield, blind prophet, hits can't be evaded, getting the free Nimis ring. Um, but when I move it to settlers, it's basically in my mind going to become a lightning strike trickster. So that's how I try to craft my gear. Was basically I'm trying to think like when I go to settlers, I don't want to bring with me a bunch of shit I can't use because I made it for a build that was only valid in PHRECIA. So yeah, like I know a lot of people might quit playing when the league or the event ends. I'm here until Path of Exile 2 releases free-to-play version. So I'm basically just along for the ride, which brings me to one of the main things I've been up to is how could I take all the currency that I've made and multiply it when the merge to settlers happens. Meaning I realize gear's going to go down and gear's going to go up and a lot's going to change when you move to settlers. So I wanted to be able to capitalize on that move as much as possible. So I'll let you know the one item that I've pretty much banked on, because I'm so far invested in it now that if you copy my idea and go get you some yourself, I don't think it'll affect my profit over the long run. The item that I've basically tried to hoard is Ambush Scarabs. And the reason why I thought they were a good item is people who were running strong boxes during this event weren't really using a bunch of ambush scarabs. They were using other scarabs to like they were using their idols to pretty much cover the extra strong boxes. So there's so many ambush scarabs that they were basically like you couldn't get anything. Meaning like if you, like, I remember when I would pick them up and bring them to try and trade in, you wouldn't be able to get anything. Like yeah, nobody was buying your ambush scarabs. So now, when I look over at settlers, I'm literally selling them at 20 for a div, and I'm buying them at 200 for a div. I think, yeah, like I bought some here for 200 for a div, but before that, they were even better odds, meaning I was getting like 3 for 1 chaos orb. So I invested a ton. I'll show you. Alright, so I've made another account. And this account has 24 characters. The one I just called help, and then 23 scabbies, and all of them, all 23, and all 24, even the help D, all of them are loaded. It took me a lot of hard work to move them all over, so hopefully it's going to be worth it in the end. But we literally have 24 characters with a max inventory full of ambush scarabs, and then 4 stash pages, all full of scarabs. So the whole entire account can't hold anything else, and it's just all scarabed out, and it'll migrate to settlers at the end of the event. And that's my goal, and then I will slowly not dump them all in the market at once. I feel like everybody else will do that. I'll wait a couple weeks, and maybe like 2 weeks, and then or during those 2 weeks, I'll try to at least keep up with whatever the, I don't know, average price is for them. But my goal is to eventually sell them all for more than I bought them for, and I'm hoping I can get 2 mirrors for all of the scarabs that are on 24 characters and 4 stash pages. I also have mules on this account that are full of scarabs, and I plan to try and move them over from now until the event ends. I've been doing that currently. I'm actively, like you've seen in the exchange, I'm actively moving over one inventory at a, whenever they sell, I move another inventory over, and I think we've moved like, I don't know, close to 500 divs. I've actually already sold them and made the profit. Another thing I started buying was these blades. They're very good for lightning strike builds, especially in settlers, and when I would look on trade, they were worth 6+ divine for them, and I was getting them for like 100 chaos each, some of them for less. And then the better ones I paid like a divine each for, and then I actually paid 7 divines for this one and 5 divines I think for this one, but they were perfect 50 max energy shields, so that's why I grabbed them. And then these amulets, I got the idea to grab them when I was running a couple of the Esh breach zones, and I found like 2 of them myself. But they're the amulet that's basically really good for lightning strike on settlers, so I felt like there are only 3 div here, and they were 7, 9 div on settlers, so I felt like this is a good investment. So yeah, I've been buying items with my profits that I think is going to multiply into more profit when I move to settlers. Like, I feel like that's the only way for free to play to keep up in this game. which also brings me to my biggest buy since I've been playing for 5 months. I've never bought anything that was this high of value, and it's next to the highest drop that I've got since playing, meaning in almost 6 months. I actually dropped a lock in one of the Shaper's maps, where like the Shaper minions. I think it was the Chimera map. But yeah, I was just rushing through there, grabbing Nico rocks and going straight for trying to get my fragment at the end of the map. And one of these dropped, and I was just dumbfounded. And then this is what I actually spent 400 divines on. Now, my logic behind it was Nimis was already a good item, I think, to purchase to take to settlers, because you could get them for under 100 divine, and then on settlers they're close to 200 divine each, especially for decent rolls. But then when it comes to the corrupted with decent implicits, I felt like, you could double your money, meaning if you bought a nice implicit Nimis on PHRECIA, you would get double for it on settlers. Well, this was the only one on trade I could find that actually had the percent intelligence mod, and I felt like that was really huge. I feel like the percent strength is really huge, and especially for people who are stacking intelligence, man, like they're getting 700 plus intelligence on their build. Even myself, like I'm planning to stack intelligence on pretty much everything I crafted had intelligence. So like my idea is basically more intelligence, more energy shield, but I could end up trading this off and then going with tattoos instead of a intelligence stack. Whichever one I think gets me, closer to 20k energy shield. That's my goal on the settlers long-term plan of having a lightning strike character. Like I was working on minion and build, and then I knew I wanted to play lightning strike, and I was trying to get my minions to level 100 before starting another character, and before I even finished that, this event happened. Which, by the way, on this event I did hit level 100 on my lightning strike character. But yeah, and then my stash, we're still sitting at like 500 divine. I got divines flowing in from doing Nico rocks still. Pretty much every map I run, no matter what the reason I'm running the map for, even if it's a T17. In the T17s, I'm getting 8,000 sulfite when I click a Nico rock. So like, it's still worth me to, like, I'm snagging every time I go to trade them in. I'm getting like 6 divines. And I'm trading them in pretty much daily, so like every day I'm filling up divines from running the Nico strategy. I'm also getting divines from selling items on the trade website. If I come over here to the trade website and show you what I've been up to, I don't think it lets me delete my threads, but you can view all my threads. Like, I've been selling a lot, because some of these threads had multiple items in them, meaning like I would list, well, not this one, but like I would list like 10 items on one thread, and then I would come back through as the 10 items sold, and because I gotta mark them sold, like I have to erase them, or I'll keep getting messages after I sold the item. Yeah, it's a shame because I don't know which ones. I would basically just make and call them yard sale posts. I would post like 10 items, they'd all sell. So I'd say I've sold probably like a couple hundred items. My best sells that I can think of, besides 105 divs for armor, which in my last video I listed an armor for like 80 divine, that's sold. The highest sell I found, I had a Lich's Circlet with Chaos Res Max Fractured. I crafted on it with Essence and made it like 500 plus energy shield with 2 other resist mods that weren't tier 1. And then I sold it for 20 divine. I sold a synthesized unique ring that I found from running the Conquerors maps, or the Cortex maps, I mean. And I got 50 divine for it. It had basically endurance as an implicit. I didn't even think the ring was that good, but at the same time, it was 50 divines. I sold a couple of the Conquerors idols for like 20 divine. I've definitely sold a lot of stuff since having this ability to trade using the trade website. So now what I've been working on besides the glove crafting is trying to migrate my character from a life-based claw build into eventually using this sword and being an ES base. So like if I come over to my attack damage, which it has been going down, like it was almost 600k just like yesterday, but I've been swapping out jewels, meaning already I've taken off, I want to say three jewels that I have here that were all like claw based, which were adding a ton of DPS, but for the claw only, and I've swapped them out for ES jewels. So that put my damage down a lot, but now I'm up to 3,700 energy shield just off those couple of changes. And then I spent 27 divines on 2 jewels. I spent 12 on one and 15 on the other. And my goal is when I start to like that lightning resist, I've changed I was a max cold before I made my shield, and I was wearing this shield. I was getting 90 res from that shield. Now I'm getting 90 res using the armor, having flask applied so that it boosts this flask, and then having I cast it max lightning on my shield, and then I have 1 max lightning jewel. So 1 max lightning jewel, 3 max lightning shield, increased flasks, and then the max from this is like 10, and then we're getting the rest of the max from the aura, which I think I jammed in here somewhere. When I recraft my gloves, I need 4 blue sockets so that I can move this back. My goal is to look into a better Watcher's Eye. I have a Watcher's Eye that's usable for the new build, but it doesn't have attack speed. I'd really like to get one where precision gives attack speed, and just use a level 1 precision gem just to get the attack speed buff from the Watcher's Eye. I don't know how relevant that is, but it seems like an idea for me, since you don't have to level up gems, and you can't critical strike with the Resolute mod, even though I still think the DPS calculator inside the game counts as if you could critical strike. So yeah, I've switched over to being a lightning defense, so that way I could get my defense to still be 90. My goal though is to change my chart. Like, instead of all of this random stuff, and instead of these jewels having something to do with chaos res, we're gonna work our way up here and be a 1 life. I think it's right here. We're gonna be a 1 life, immune to chaos. That'll allow me to strip all of the gear that I'm wearing that adds chaos resistance. Like even my armor, I could take that and make it attribute percentage. Yeah, it'll be a huge boost. I'll be able to switch out this gem here, which is a huge chaos gem, and yeah, replace the big jewels, and then work all the way up through intelligence nodes. Get the one where I leech energy shield instead of HP, I think is another important node. Yeah, and then just dump everything in the lightning, a bit like lightning damage. I think I'll be getting rid of the crit. Yeah, I'll be getting rid of the crit jewel. I'll be getting rid of the trifecta, or I already did. Yeah, so I'll be getting rid of the crit jewel, and then I don't know what else. Maybe the inspiration support for... I know there's the one where, like, as long as you're on max health, you get a bunch of damage. That's probably a good swap. And then I'll be putting that amulet on. I'll have to anoint it. So yeah, like, my plans going forward before the end of this league is to try and get more done on challenges, and then try to get my tree switched over, my jewels switched over. Basically want to buy all the gear that I need in this league for that league, so that way I don't have to buy it when I get over there. Yeah, so like, I don't know what to expect in the next video. Hopefully I'll have my gloves crafted by then. But nonetheless, I mean, what's your all's opinion on playing this game 100% free to play? Because I really feel like I'm doing fine. Like, when I interact with people in the game who've been playing it for years, and they do have tabs, they do have all this extra knowledge, I feel like we're catching up pretty quick. Meaning, like, I'm still, like, I don't know, man. Like, being able to craft things like this shield, to me, I don't know what to really compare it to, but I feel like I'm doing pretty good. Like, I feel like this is it's not a mirror. None of my gear is mirror tier, but at the same time, like, it's all decent. So I feel like, yeah, like, I'll spend some divines and re-roll my belt maybe. But really, I just got to see what it looks like as I add all the new gear and switch the passive tree. And then I know my like suppression will stay low because I'll have to wait until I move over to settlers to get the new ascendancies that'll give me that stuff. But like, yeah, this ring is probably going to be my other rings. So I'm planning when I go to settlers to wear this ring and this ring. And then I basically plan to make as much of my gear attack speed focused, lightning damage focused, energy shield focused. Since the more energy shield I put on, the more lightning damage I'll deal. The faster I can attack, the quicker I'll leech, the more I'll deal lightning damage. That's pretty much my goal. Yeah, so I don't know really. I got a bunch of loot in the stash that, you know, is probably worth something. These, I've been saving them up. That's the new like endgame thing, is trying to get my challenges done. One of the challenges that I've been working on recently was the tier 17 maps. I only had like maybe 3 of them done in the last video. I've ran all of them. The only one that I struggled with was Abomination, but it was like 260 quant when I went in there, because I'm also trying to finish the, what is it, Nightmare Nemesis maybe. Yeah, these. So these are the 2 that I struggle with. I have a hard time with the boss fights on both of them. I don't have a problem with the mapping, and I honestly haven't tried either one of them with low quantity or using like the scarab that removes half the prefixes and half the suffixes. They've been juiced maps when I've went in there and I've struggled. So yeah, like I don't want to weaken my build switching to lightning strike all ES stuff until I finish at least the challenge of the T17 maps. After that, I think I'll be fine even if my DPS goes down. Because like right now, I don't even know if I put this on yet to show you guys. I can't remember. But yeah, this one, like when I put it on right now, without changing my passive tree, without changing all my jewels, my damage literally goes from, let's see what it is, the 600k, put this on, we're literally at 300k. So my damage cuts in half switching the strategy at the moment. It'll go up a lot when I switch the rest of the gear though, I think. But I don't know if it'll go past 600k. We'll have to see. Maybe in the next video. So anyway, thanks everybody who's been following my journey as a free-to-play on Path of Exile. Like I said earlier in the beginning of the video, I think we can basically just call this free-to-play versus PoE series. Like that's what it's basically going to be as we prepare for Path of Exile 2. And without the blink of an eye, as soon as Path of Exile 2 is free-to-play, I'm just going to move from this game to that game. I have absolutely no reason to stay here. I mean, I could argue like it'd be like trying to go back and play Diablo 2. Like they're basically the same game. This is just like somebody modded Diablo 2 to me, and I'm playing a, you know, expansion to Diablo 2. So yeah, like I have no real like ties to staying long term. I just wanted to sponge up as much as I could before going to play the new game. Anyway, if you have anything you want to see from me in the next video or questions about my free-to-play journey on this game, let me know in the comments. Thanks to everybody who's been watching the channel. Definitely seeing some new faces. So yeah, peace.